Yes, we are still talking about Ilia Topuria after that big win he had over last weekend. And I don't know, guys, normally I feel like, UFC pay-per-view happens, we talk about it a few days, and it's on to the next. But with Ilia Topuria, I mean, there's been so much talk. Who is he going to fight next? It's going to be Alexander Volkanovski. I mean, I already made a video talking about what avenues they can go in terms of Ilia Topuria and where he can fight and who he can fight. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about somebody that I only mentioned very briefly, which is the winner of this weekend's Fight Night co-main event between Yair Rodriguez and Brian Ortega. Now, this is a rematch, as I recalled in the last video. All the way back in July 2022, we saw Yair and Brian Ortega face off in the main event. I was actually there, unfortunately, when I saw the lackluster end to the main event, in which Brian Ortega, of course, dislocated his shoulder, ending the fight in the first round due to an injury. And Brian Ortega has been out since. Alright, now I am going to talk about the matchup at some point in the video, but this is more about Yair and Ilia Topuria. They have been going back and forth, and I'm trying to figure out what is this beef about. Well, I'm going to walk you through the timeline, everything that we have, and can Yair Rodriguez be next for Ilia Topuria? Is that disrespectful for Volkanovski? We're going to get into all that and more, but first, remember, guys, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. We're almost at 12K, guys. You guys have been really killing it with the support lately, with the comments, with the views, with sharing, and everything like that. Make sure to click the link in my description or click the link on the screen to join my Discord server, and I'm thinking of doing a Q&A sometime next week, so comment in the comment section below some of your top questions you guys would want me to answer in that video. But let's talk about it, alright, guys? You guys don't even need me to explain. Last weekend, Alexander Volkanovski, Ilia Topuria, the fight went down, and we saw Topuria knock Volkanovski out cold. Very impressive performance, and I have been one of those people saying, look, Volkanovski needs some time off. It is not good for him to rush right back into a rematch, because Volkanovski has now suffered 4 massive concussions over the course of 4 months. 2 knockouts, 1 head kick from Islam Makhachev, and 1 powerful out cold right hand from Ilia Topuria. And Volkanovski, I know that the guy likes to be active. I know that he wants to get the win back, I'm sure. I know this is killing him, but Volkanovski needs to put his ego aside and say, look, let me wait this out. Let me fight the winner at the end of the year. I think that's the best thing you do to Volk. It's not disrespectful to Volk because he's going to get a title shot at the end anyway. And it also makes sure that he does not come back way too soon. Honestly, I would not feel comfortable seeing him in 2024. That's just my opinion. I know maybe some people say I'm being extreme, but I would most likely want to see him January or even February. I think that's the biggest chance he could potentially beat Ilia. Take maybe, a couple months off, start training again, work on a good game plan for Ilia Topuria, and then prepare for the rematch, right? And get a little bit more healthier, prepare that chin that just got cracked. And that's why I'm saying, look, Volkanovski to the side. Let's leave him to the side. Ilia has to defend his belt against someone else, in my opinion. Now, who should that be? Like I said in the other video, I don't want to reiterate everything I said, but I touched on a few options. I had said, look, Max Holloway is someone that I wanted to see. Maybe we could see Sean O'Malley move up. But I think now this is the more likely option. It's been an option I have been saying for a couple weeks. It is the winner of this week's fight night. Now, Brian Ortega, Yair Rodriguez, right? This is a rematch, right? Now, we didn't really get to see a lot in their first fight, but from what we saw, it seemed like Yair was winning. Yair did land a lot of good right hands. He almost got Brian Ortega into an armbar as well. Yair Rodriguez is so well-rounded. Like, I think this guy can potentially be a champion in the future. I know technically, yes, he was an interim champion, but I mean an undisputed champion, because I thought this was a style that could beat Volkanovski. I think if he just works a little bit more on his takedown defense, we saw that hole in his game in the Volkanovski fight, and I think he's a good style for a guy like Ilia Topuria. So if what I'm saying is correct, right, if Yair does win, it would seem that Ilia Topuria versus Yair Rodriguez is a legit possibility, because these two have been beefing. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up, but Ilia Topuria has not had some nice things to say about Yair, and Yair's been really going after Ilia. So I wanted to take a look at some of the things that have been said between the two, and then I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the matchup and give you guys my thoughts on if this fight will happen. Alright, so as you guys could see, it all started on the MMA Hour, alright? This was, I don't know the date, this was February 5th, 2024, alright? And we saw Ariel Helwani, he brought on Ilia Topuria, and Ilia had to say this about defending his title.
If you beat Alex, then Max would obviously be a huge fight for you as number one contender, but he's fighting in April. Were you surprised that he took that?
How? I'm gonna beat a guy who whooped his ass 3 times.
Okay.
How? It doesn't make any sense. Max, Yair, or Brian Ortega, all of them, they can go and retire. I'm never gonna give them the chance to fight for the title.
Wow.
Now, a lot of people might be like, yeah, he was trolling here, and yeah, he probably was. At the end of the day, he has said after, he beat Volkanovski, he said, look, I don't care whoever the UFC says, I'm going to just fight. But he also said, look, that they are part of an old generation of MMA, and he's trying to fight newer guys that are on the come up, guys that in his mind have actual potential. But Yair heard of this and went on the MMA Hour and actually fired back at him.
Or is it just like the build up to this fight that you feel like he's...
I never give a fuck with the guy until he started fucking talking shit about me.
What do you say about you that you heard that you didn't like?
I I didn't really put so much attention on him, you know. But this is the name of the sport, you know. You talk about somebody that's better known than you on the sport, and then you start becoming more known.
Right.
You know, that's what he's doing. Like, let's be honest about this right now.
So Yair is saying, look, that at the end of the day, Ilia Topuria is just going after him for clout, for, you know, just trying to, you know, get his name out there, getting headlines, which is what I was saying. I said, look, at the end of the day, I don't think Ilia Topuria is serious. I think he will defend his belt against Yair if the UFC presents him with that, especially if he beats Brian Ortega. I think that would be a really fun matchup. I mean, both guys are primarily strikers. I know Ilia Topuria can mix it up, but I think that would be a fun matchup above all else. Forget about, you know, this beef. Forget about them, you know, going back and forth at each other. And there's one more clip I want to show you guys from Media Day taken from this week. Now, all of this was before Ilia won. This is after Ilia won, and Yair Rodriguez really goes in on Ilia Topuria here.
What do you make of Ilia? Because clearly he's thrown some shots your way. You've answered as well. I saw your Instagram stories. What do you make of him in the division, sort of his personality, and is that someone you want to fight down the line?
I would love to fuck him up. No, I don't want to fight him. I want to fuck him up.
Yeah.
There's a fucking big difference on that, just to make that clear. And anywhere I fucking see him, I'll fuck him up.
And you're usually like super respectful with everyone. Would you say this is the person that you like the most in the division?
Fuck this bitch. I don't fucking like him.
Now, we've usually seen Yair very respectful, right? In the Josh Emmett build-up, very respectful, right? Leading up to the Volkanovski fight, he said, look, the Volkanovski was a guy he respected, that he knew that had high-level skill, and said, look, I'm going to respect this guy. When we're talking about Topuria matchup, he is not matching that same energy. He's just talking shit, saying, look, that Ilia Topuria's been talking shit about him. He's just saying he's defending himself. Like, we've never seen Yair this mad. Like, the last time we saw Yair this mad, I'd say, is during the whole Jeremy Stevens situation with that no contest where he even, like, pushed Michael Bisping. And I do think that this is very deliberate. I think Yair Rodriguez sees an opportunity. Look, Yair sees, like, if he gets a win over Brian Ortega, a very big name amongst featherweights, if he gets a win there, I mean, there's a chance he could get a title shot. Because Volkanovski, as I said, he should not return right away. I think he should wait a year or so, or wait at least till the end of the year and fight whoever has the belt then. I think he needs some time off. Getting knocked out twice within this span of time is not good for you. Take some time off if he really does want to attempt at beating Ilia Topuria. And at that point, who's going to be the guy? I mean, normally it would probably be Max Holloway, but Max Holloway is obviously occupied with Justin Gaethje at UFC 300. So with that being said, I think if Yair wins this fight, he's going to be the #1 guy that you could call and be like, okay, he should fight Ilia Topuria. Yes, you could do O'Malley like I mentioned in my other video. I just don't think that makes sense because both guys are superstars. Why destroy one superstar instead of just having both? If you don't believe me, they did the same thing with GSP and Anderson Silva. I think both guys are young right now. Let them, you know, gain some momentum, and then maybe in the future you make them face each other. So my prediction is, yes, I think Yair will get this done this weekend as I predicted. I think we're going to see him break down Brian Ortega and finish him that way. I'm predicting like a 4th round TKO stoppage. And as far as a matchup with Ilia Topuria and Yair Rodriguez, I mean, that's an interesting matchup because Ilia Topuria, obviously, he's more of a boxing guy. I could see, you know, Yair trying to keep it at kicking range, kicking the legs of Topuria, trying to slow him down, while Topuria is trying to get on the inside. And I think if Yair uses, you know, side kick, uses teep kick, and is able to manage the distance, I think that Topuria is going to have a hard time. Topuria, on the other hand, he can grapple. I think we could expect to see him to mix in some takedowns against Yair. I think it would only be smart, but we'll have to see because he still has to beat Brian Ortega this weekend. And let me know what you guys think about this match, but make sure to check out my other videos talking about UFC 300 and why some fans are disappointed, and check out my other video breaking down Ilia Topuria and how he might be the next big superstar in the UFC. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are the best fan base in MMA. Make sure to click the link in the description to join the Discord, and I'll see you guys in the next one.